Hey there, everybody. Well, welcome to the introduction video for the University of Iowa Ideas Lab. I am super excited that you're watching this and that you've decided to come on board with this initiative. I wanted to just kind of give you a little bit of information before we get started because this, if you're like me, this is something you've not necessarily done in this kind of structured setting before, and you probably have a lot of questions. So I'll tell you what I know, and then you can get a hold of me or Aaron or Andy with other questions as we move closer to the lab. So I'll start out by telling you a little bit about myself. My name is Chris Burish, and I work in the Department of Emergency Medicine. I've done some training in pediatrics, emergency medicine, and public health, and so I work mostly in the adult and pediatric emergency department here at the university. I also am involved with the Iowa Harm Reduction Coalition, which is the group here in Iowa City that works on handing out naloxone and works on other ways of helping people who use injection drugs, not get sick. And so I've been working on the opioid crisis really for the last 6 months or so, pretty intensively through that and some other lobbying efforts. I am really excited about this because for a number of reasons. Some of my favorite things that I've done in my life have been involving, tackling some really complex and sometimes problems that seem insoluble, and doing that with this diverse group of people who bring all kinds of different talents to the problem and different types of expertise. And this is a great way to do that. This Ideas Lab is one of those really rare times in academics where you really get to focus on just thinking and being creative, and you can put aside some of the other stuff that is always competing for your time and attention, and it'll give us a chance to really just come together to work on this. I mean, one of the reasons that I personally have stayed in academics is because I get to work with some of the brightest minds from around the university and really around the world, and learn so much from that. And so I'm really excited about this opportunity to do the kind of academic work that I really love doing, and I hope that you're excited about that too. The other reason that I'm really interested in doing this is that I'm scared. Honestly, I have. I've seen all kinds of people who've overdosed. I've resuscitated some of them, and some of them I haven't been able to. I know that I have caused addiction in a number of people, and I know that addiction has caused those people to die, and that's horrible, and I hate it. And so this is, hopefully a way to work on that. I also am the father of 4 little kids that have yet to kind of run the gauntlet of puberty in this community, and I'm terrified about what's coming. We are already seeing this huge uptick in opioid-related deaths, about 250% over the last couple of years, and the CDC and really everybody says that it's going to get worse over the next 5 years. And so this is an opportunity, this is really our only opportunity to try and mitigate that crisis before it really hits. And so you guys have been selected from a pretty big group of pretty impressive applicants, actually, to come together and work on this. And so I'm really excited about the folks that are watching this video right now. We have computer scientists, we have musicians, we have social workers, we have physicians, we have public health folks, we have some people from business and law and education, and really just across the spectrum of academic endeavor to really come and bring some new perspective and breathe some new life into this, because whatever we've been doing for the last 30 years fighting opioids clearly is not working. And so I'm really hoping that this process will generate some ideas that have never been thought of before, or that have been discounted because they were too far out there. I think this is a chance to really, say Geronimo and go for broke. And so I'm excited about that. And so how's it going to work? Well, the Ideas Lab itself is April 9th through the 11th, and those will be full-day events out at the Terry Trueblood Recreation Center. And we're going to need you out there for all 3 of those days. And so I appreciate, that's a huge lift, that's a huge commitment, and I appreciate you being willing to make that. I think it's really going to pay off. Beforehand, what we would like is for you to do a little background reading. And so everybody's coming to this from a different place by intention. And so we're providing some background materials for you to read and watch to kind of make sure that we're all at least starting from a similar spot, that we've all been exposed to some of the same material, even though you'll probably all interpret it very differently. And so, which is totally great, which is totally okay. And so, accompanying this video, or perhaps in another email, you'll be getting a domain login for something called HubKey, which will have all sorts of reading for you to do. I've done a lot of the reading already, and it's good, and it's not onerous at all. There's some great videos on there as well. So as part of that, we would like to have you guys start getting together with one another, because these are going to be people from different disciplines, people you don't know, and kind of start this conversation. And so, like any good academic, research-oriented enterprise, we are going to do this using RCTs, which normally stands for randomized controlled trials, but in this setting, we're talking about randomized coffee talks. And so you'll be getting some Java House gift cards in the campus mail sometime in the near future. And we're hoping that you will get together with somebody that's part of this Ideas Lab that you don't know already, and sit down for half an hour or an hour or 2 hours and talk about, why you want to do this, what you're really interested in, what sort of knowledge gaps you feel like you have. If there's a certain aspect of this that really sort of fires you up or excites you, talk about that. Talk about any experience you have with the opioid crisis so far, and talk about what you're hoping to get out of this. None of this is mandatory. None of this needs to be recorded in any form or turned in. This is simply to help move the process forward and for you to enjoy it. And so be looking for those. We have assigned you already someone to have coffee with. And so once we send out those assignments, we'll ask you to contact each other, to bring your gift cards, and to enjoy something warm and energizing. And you don't have to go to the Java House. It's just that's the place that's easiest for me to get coffee cards from. So those should happen before the April event, if possible. And then the event in April will be those 3 days, the 9th through the 11th at Terry Trueblood. You will be fed. And we have a group of mentors who are really just, kind of experts in their fields to come help sort through this process and kind of hone in on a focus that you want to look at, and develop projects that you think will be, maybe a little bit out there, maybe a little bit, risky, but exciting and new and innovative. And so we're going to really focus on creative thinking. You also will get a link to a series of videos created by Andy Burnett and his friends that talk about the process of creative thinking, and we'll ask you to look at those if you can. Then after the event is, the fun continues. And so what we are planning on doing at that point is going out into the community with some of the ideas that we've generated. And we'll do that through a series of talks at restaurants and bars and coffee shops, and inviting people who are interested that maybe weren't able to attend the event, or that have, other sort of connections to this, to come and kind of give us some feedback. What seems to make sense? What seems half-baked? What are there different angles we should be considering, or different groups that should have a voice in this? And really just do some sharing and some listening, and finding other people to kind of join the team as these projects move forward. So that should be a lot of fun, and that will take place probably in the April, May, June time period. Once we have these projects sort of set up, we'll, if we've done them correctly, they are going to be a little bit risky. They're going to be a little bit, new and maybe a little bit scary. And so we'll probably set up some pilot studies to de-risk them, and then we'll start looking for, grant funding to do bigger studies, bigger projects. And fortunately, we have the full support and backing of the university, especially the Office of the Vice President for Research and Economic Development, who is sponsoring this whole shebang. And so Aaron Klein is the person that you've been hearing from that office, and he is also happy to talk to you if you have any questions or concerns going forward. I would also say that I'm completely available. This is an endeavor that is really important to me. I think that this is going to be, I'm a lifelong Iowan. I don't want to see people from my state hurt by this. And so I'm available to you anytime you want, 24/7. Really, my shift schedule is all over the place, so you can call me day or night, and odds are that I'm awake. So here's my contact information. I'm not smart enough to do this on the computer and make it look any fancier than that. So there you go. So if you need to get a hold of me ahead of the event, that is me. So I hope you guys are as excited about this as I am. I think this is going to be a tremendous amount of fun to get to work with, people from all around the university that have these amazing backgrounds and minds, and I'm very excited about it. I also think that this is something that we have to do, that has to be done. This is not going to be done by any other sector of industry. We're not going to be able to do this with legislation. We're not going to be able to do this with medicine. We need to do this as a community. And so thank you sincerely for taking the time and for helping out. So please let me know if you have questions. I'll be looking for your reading materials in your inbox and your coffee cards in your mailbox. And let me know if you don't get those things. In the meantime, enjoy your spring, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks.